The invasion began without warning. The aliens, who called themselves the Threx Dominion, had long stalked the edges of human expansion. They watched colonies rise on barren moons, listened as human traders spoke of Earth with pride, and sneered at the soft optimism that painted every broadcast. To the Threx, humanity was a young species, naive, scattered, and ripe for plunder. The Threx had chosen their target carefully. Not Earth itself, not the cradle of humanity, but a colony world, Halcyon Prime. A jewel of agriculture and industry, home to 10 million souls and a fleet yard still under construction. It was undefended. The Threx Armada descended like carrion birds. Their warships pierced the skies, launching kinetic bombardments that split cities open like eggs. The colony's distress calls echoed into the void, desperate, pleading. Families fled into the forests, hunted by orbital drones. Hospitals burned. Children suffocated in bunkers buried under collapsed cities. And in the last hours of Halcyon Prime, the Threx Overlord broadcast across the galaxy. See humanity's weakness. See their helpless cries. Earth stands alone. And alone, it will fall. They executed the colonial governor live on holofeeds. His screams carried on every frequency. Then they silenced Halcyon Prime forever, sealing its surface under a layer of molten glass. The Threx celebrated. Arrogance in the stars in their grand halls. The Threx lords toasted their victory. They mocked humanity's cries, their desperation. They called Earth a garden world without teeth, a species too sentimental to survive among predators. The alien press carried their triumph far and wide. The upstart ape children struck down. The experiment of Earth extinguished. They boasted not only of the conquest, but of their mercy, claiming that sparing Earth itself was an act of benevolence, a warning to stay caged. Their fleets paraded across neutral trade lanes, showing off fragments of Halcyon Prime's ruined monuments mounted like trophies. And in the Galactic Council, the Threx representatives sneered at human envoys, asking them how many more colonies they wished to sacrifice before accepting Dominion's order. The galaxy laughed with them. After all, what could Earth do? They were young, their fleets modest, their armies small. No ancient empire had pledged them aid. Humanity was alone, or so the Threx believed. The silence breaks. The first sign came in whispers. Comms traffic shifting across human channels. Then silence. Every broadcast, every transmission went dark. Traders who once shared songs and news from Earth fell quiet. Outposts no longer answered. Human systems folded inwards, cloaked in radio silence. The Threx mocked the stillness. They hide. They tremble. They wait to beg. But the silence was not fear. It was preparation. For beneath Earth's oceans, in hidden shipyards carved into asteroids, in black vaults never spoken of even among allies, humanity had been building. Not alone and not unobserved. When Halcyon Prime burned, old oaths were awakened. Forgotten signals were broadcast into deep space. Coded beacons meant not for human ears, but for those who had walked beside them in secret. Allies not of Earth, but of its soul. And the galaxy learned a truth it had never dared to imagine. Humanity had never stood alone. The void itself seemed to tremble when the fleets emerged. Not only human dreadnoughts, forged in silence, but vessels of design unseen for millennia. Titan ships cloaked in crystalline armor. War arcs trailing storms of plasma. Names from myth whispered among human history. Echoes of those who had watched once, and now returned to stand beside their chosen kin. When the silence broke, it broke with thunder. Human fleets lit the void. Allied warforms darkened stars, and every comm channel blared the same message, carried in 1,000 tongues. Humanity does not kneel. Humanity does not beg. The blood of Halcyon Prime is answered. The galaxy no longer laughed. The storm unleashed. The retaliation began at the edges. Threx patrols vanished into sudden firestorms. Convoys found themselves torn apart by hunter-killers that appeared from warped space, striking without mercy. Then came the fleets. Over the skies of Rethys IV, the Threx watched as their fortress world defenses lit up in panic. Human dreadnoughts emerged from hyperspace in perfect silence, engines cold until the moment they struck. Rail cannons roared, their shells burning like meteors. The ground quaked as orbital fire lanced down, vaporizing strongholds in seconds. But worse than the human fleets were their allies. From wormholes bloomed ships of impossible architecture, moving in formations that no Threx strategist could parse. These were not mercenaries. They were not slaves. They fought with purpose, vengeance burning in their every strike. Where humans cut through fleets, their allies swallowed entire battle groups whole. Space folding, time bending, enemies reduced to dust. The Threx screamed into the void. This cannot be. Earth has no allies, but the truth was undeniable. Humanity had been patient, cautious, waiting until the knife was at their throat to summon those bound to them. And when they called, the answer was more terrible than any empire could withstand. Threx worlds burned. One by one, their proud bastions fell to coordinated annihilation. Their fleets were chased down, shattered, and left drifting as tombs in the dark. And always, before the final blow fell, a human voice carried across their comms. You thought us alone. You were wrong. Fire without mercy, the climax came at the Threx homeworld. Their great fleet stood ready, their orbital rings armed to the teeth. Billions watched from the surface, certain that their dominion could not fall. The humans arrived in silence. Their allies arrived in storms. The first wave shattered the outer defenses. Planetary shields flickered, then collapsed under the combined fury of Earth-forged weapons and allied storms. The Threx armada fought bravely, but bravery was nothing against vengeance. Human dreadnoughts advanced through fire, undeterred. Their allies unleashed forces that defied description. Black holes blooming in the void, suns turned into weapons, storms of energy ripping through space. In orbit, the sky turned red. On the surface, every citizen of Threx Prime looked upward and saw the truth. Their dominion was over. Then came the final broadcast. Simple, cold, without anger or triumph. This is for Halcyon Prime. And the human fleets fired. Continents cracked. Oceans boiled. The proud towers of Threx civilization crumbled into ash. The homeworld of the Threx Dominion became a wasteland, its name cursed and erased. The ashes of Dominion. When the fire faded, silence returned. The surviving fragments of the Threx scattered into exile, broken, hunted, their empire nothing but ruins. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Species that once mocked Earth now trembled. Traitors spoke in hushed voices of fleets blotting out stars, of weapons that tore empires apart in days. They spoke of allies unseen, ancient and terrifying, who stood with humanity in vengeance. And above all, they repeated one warning: never provoke Earth again. The galaxy understood now. Humanity's patience was vast, their kindness was genuine. But when wronged, when their people slaughtered, their response was absolute. They had been underestimated, mocked, struck. But humanity had answered, not alone, never alone. And their enemies, hearing the echoes of allies beyond comprehension, finally understood. Earth's vengeance is infinite.